Upon hearing Fatty's explanation, Yi Tian further inquired, asking him what the level of the wild zone was, to which Fatty replied, stating that the monsters have already all been cleared out and all that remains are the descendants of monsters, known as beasts, which are far weaker. Yi Tian had a serious yet determined expression. Sounds good, this will be worth a try. Fatty then immediately began pleading Yi Tian to join his squad since he needed someone to carry him, but Yi Tian pulled a long face. Join your squad, huh? I'm sorry, I'll definitely join your squad, but it will have to be next time. Fatty walked after him, wiping his eyes with his sleeve. What? I thought we were friends, why be so cold-hearted? While Yi Tian was listening to Fatty's tantrum, he thought to himself, teaming up with others is just looking for trouble. If my special ability gets exposed, things could get dangerous. However, I will definitely get the monster blood and break through to the martial warrior realm. In what seemed like an instant, 1 month had already passed. In the main office at the Linhai Base 5th Academy, the instructor sternly asked Yi Tian why he came to sign up to the special exam, even though he didn't receive an invitation. Yi Tian, surprised by the instructor's aggressiveness, told him that he had already become a martial apprentice so he was qualified to sign up. But before he could wait for a reply, the instructor threw a sheet of paper directly at his face. I wanted you brats to live for a while longer, but it seems you're all eager to die. After picking up the sheet of paper thrown at him, Yi Tian saw the letters, Life Responsibility Agreement. The instructor took another sip of his tea while explaining, if you want to take the exam then you must sign the Life Responsibility Agreement. But after he saw Yi Tian blankly staring at the slip of paper, he mistook this for him being a coward, and he immediately became enraged. Kid, if you're afraid to die then piss off. Don't waste my time. A few moments later, once Yi Tian had left his office, the instructor gazed out of his office window as if he could tell that a terrible event was soon to happen. Huh, do you really think this exam was prepared for you poor brats? You'll definitely regret this. Meanwhile, back at Yi Tian's apartment, his sister Yi Yu was groggily walking to his room after having just woken up. Brother, it's time to wake up. But upon seeing all the food on the table that was prepared in advance, she was shocked. Whoa, did Big Bro cook all this? What's the occasion? However, as soon as she read the note Yi Tian left her, saying that he would be back in 3 days because of a school event, she was clearly concerned. Big Bro, you won't be in danger, right? At that same time, in a gloomy abandoned city, where the building were ravaged and looked like they were about to crumble, a large group of students from the 5 academies were standing by the entrance. Yi Tian remarked, damn, there's quite a lot of people here. Fatty, who was standing beside him, added, of course they're all from the 5 major academies. Amongst the crowd, a young man with a sinister red aura coldly smirked. Humph, the 5th Academy? Scums from that garbage academy dare to participate. His bodyguards sneered in response. Young master, you can hunt beasts as well as humans during the exam, so the more weaklings there are, the better it is. Ha ha ha. The weak should feel blessed being hunted by the strong. Meanwhile, everyone in the crowd seemed tense while staring at the young master. You seen him? That's Mo Xiaobei, a genius from the 1st Academy. Fatty, like a typical fanboy, then added, saying that he was the young master of the prestigious Mo family. Yi Tian felt gritted his teeth, seemingly annoyed. So he's from the Mo family, no wonder he's so arrogant. However, at that moment, the sound of a sword scraping along the ground was becoming gradually louder. Hey, stop right there. Who the hell are you? How dare you come to the 1st Academy student area with your sword unsheathed? The man completely ignored the other students' taunts and glared directly at Mo Xiaobei. Bring your ass here, Mo Xiaobei. I'm gonna chop you to pieces. Mo Xiaobei smirked coldly. What? You want to lose to me again? It turns out that the man's name is Li Yunqing, a genius from the 2nd Academy, but he was defeated by Mo Xiaobei in the past. The 5th Academy instructor was watching the scene with a condescending look. Pfft, just another ignorant peasant. He then shouted at Yi Tian, telling him to cheer for Mo Xiaobei, but this was actually just a ploy so the 5th Academy could curry favor with the Mo family. Instead, Yi Tian began gleefully cheering on Li Yunqing. Seeing this, Li Yunqing made an awkward face. Damn, who is this guy and why is he cheering me on? Is he not afraid of Mo Xiaobei? This is kind of awkward. However, seconds later, a loud announcement sounded, prohibiting students from fighting outside the wild zone or they would be disqualified. Li Yunqing then unwillingly withdrew from the fight. Humph, I'll let you live for now, Mo Xiaobei. Once we're inside the wild zone, I'm gonna beat you senseless. Without an ounce of fear, Mo Xiaobei evilly chuckled. Ha ha ha, what an undisciplined mutt. Li Yunqing then turned to face Yi Tian. You've got some guts to be cheering me on. What's your name? I am Yi Tian of the 5th Academy. While Yi Tian was looking at Li Yunqing, his system window suddenly popped up. It read, Li Yunqing, low-tier cultivation talent, mid-tier sword talent. This immediately intrigued Yi Tian. His sword talent is pretty decent. Taking the initiative, he reached out his hand with ulterior motives. Make sure you surpass Mo Xiaobei in the wild zone exam. Taking the bait, Li Yunqing earnestly replied, good luck to you as well. You better come out alive. At that moment, an energy emanated from their handshake as a notification sounded. Sword talent has been successfully copied. Seconds later, the intercom announced that the exam was now starting and instructed the 1st Academy students to enter the wild zone first. As soon as the large doors creaked open, hundreds of students urgently rushed to enter and attempt to get a head start on the rest. Fatty's eyes flashed with excitement excitement. "Oh ho, it started. I gotta go find my team. I'll meet you inside Yi Tian." Li Yunqing felt a sense of injustice as he sighed. "The first academy gets to go in first, then it's us, the second academy, and finally, your fifth academy enters last. What a cruel and unfair world." After he finished speaking, Li Yunqing waved him off, saying that he had to go find his team. Yi Tian, without wasting any time, rushed into the nearby forest, and after 5 minutes of intense running, he dropped his bags with a content expression. This place should be hidden well enough. He then opened up his status window and the system asked if he would like to fuse the mid-tier sword talent. Without any hesitation, Yi Tian confirmed, and just like the previous time, he felt a surge of pain rush through his body, except this time around, he had a faint smile on his face as he thought, "It hurts, but I've already gone through this twice before and I'm slowly getting used to it. I must become stronger." A few minutes later, deep in the forest, a beam of light suddenly flashed. Just then, Yi Tian opened his eyes and his gaze looked endless. He immediately got into a sword stance to test out his new talent, and in a split second, he sliced through countless tree trunks as if they were made of tofu. Yi Tian then headed back to the testing grounds with a seemingly bottomless confidence brimming in his eyes. His system window also displayed his newly acquired mid-tier sword talent. Back at the entrance to the wild zone, the intercom sounded. "The first 4 academies have all entered. Next up, the 5th academy, please enter." Soon after, Yi Tian was cautiously walking through the wild zone as a snake-like creature was slithering behind him. This giant creature emerged behind Yi Tian with its beady eyes intensely looking at him. Yi Tian immediately sensed its presence and calmly unsheathed his sword. He then leapt into the air, dauntlessly facing the ferocious snake beast head-on. Just a few milliseconds passed and Yi Tian had already sliced straight through the snake's hard scales, instantly beheading it. As the snake's 30-foot-long body crashed onto the floor, he went over to its head and removed its eyes with his sword. Yi Tian held its massive eye in his hand, which was the size of his palm, and then stored in his backpack while thinking that the beasts here are quite weak. It turns out that for every monster you kill, it counts as 1 point, and the first-place student of the exam receives 3 mid-tier beast blood vials along with 100,000 yuan, which is equal to around $14,000. Yi Tian took a deep breath. "There's a long way to go for me. Whatever, I'll just go hunt some more beasts first," and then he darted away. As he was dashing through the air, his ears twitched as he heard someone shout out for help. Yi Tian gazed down at the sight from afar, and it turns out that it was Fatty, who was surrounded by a dozen wolf beasts. Fatty's whole body shook in fear as he nervously said, "I don't want to die. I haven't even got married yet." But the wolf didn't care that Fatty got no bitches, and it aggressively pounced towards him. Yi Tian's eyes widened. This isn't good. He immediately took out an arrow and aimed his bow while doing a somersault in midair. In a flash, the wolf was perfectly pierced by the arrow and its body collapsed. After watching this scene, Fatty revealed a look of both utter shock and fear at the same time, and Yi Tian landed on the ground beside him, like a god of war descending from the heavens. Yi Tian glanced at Fatty as if nothing had just happened and he calmly asked, "Do you mind me getting all the points for them?" Fatty hesitated to respond for a moment, not because he was concerned about the points, but because he didn't know if his friend had the ability to defeat the remaining wolves on his own. He then shouted at him with a concerned tone, "Yi Tian, run. You're no match for the fanged wolves." However, Yi Tian didn't wait for his response and immediately activated his speed talent, and red flares of energy surrounded him. He landed in the center of the pack of wolves, only centimeters away from being torn apart by their piercing claws. As he unsheathed his sword, he fearlessly muttered the words, "Speed talent, cut." In an instant, Yi Tian turned the fanged wolves into meat skewers with his razor-sharp sword. Fatty looked on in disbelief. "No way, how is he so strong?"